Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Marilyn with MKR Creations, and today we are going to be working on a birthday card. Only this birthday card is going to be made as a keepsake, not just one that is a one and done type thing. This is actually a birthday card that they could display on their coffee table if they wanted. This project is inspired by Crafty Crafts by Dina and my sister Scrapper. So I want to give a shout out to them for giving me some ideas on how I wanted to proceed with this. So today you're going to need your glue. I use art glitter glue. It dries clear, it's strong, it's dries quickly so that you can keep moving with your project. You don't have to put it off to the side and work on it in bits and pieces here and there. You can just complete your whole project. Score tape, your album spacer. You're going to need some chipboard for this, and this is what makes it a keepsake type thing, is we're going to make it very durable that it can last for years. You could also just make this out of, use 150-pound paper to do your base, or you could use cereal weight chipboard to do your base, but this one will make it good and sturdy and more like our albums that we make. You will need a piece that is 3/4 by 8.5. 4.5 by 8.5, two of those. And I cut this out of one 8.5 by 11 chipboard, so you only need one piece of chipboard to do this project. Then we're going to need things for our waterfall. This waterfall I learned from my sister Scrapper. This is how she does hers, and I thought that's perfect for me, since if you've been following me very long, you know I have a crooked eye. So anything that can keep me on the straight and narrow is a good thing. So it has a base on it, and this is what helps keep it nice and straight and even. The base is 7 3/4 long by 4 inches across. Then these pieces are 4 inches across by 4.5 this way, and you want to score at the 1/2 inch line up here. And I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but I'll be folding those later. Then you're going to need these waterfall pieces. I think there's 7 of them. Yeah, 7 of those. Then you're going to need decorative pieces, and there's 15, I believe, of these, and they are 4 by 4, or no, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And on my waterfall and my decorative pieces, I used my crocodile to round the corners. You can use any corner rounder you have, or any decorative corner rounder. You want to make sure, if you have directional paper like this, cupcake paper is pretty directional. Most of the cupcakes are facing up or just slightly to the side. You want to go at the bottom. The other side of the paper is not directional, which is good, because then I didn't have to worry about that. The other paper I am using is this plaid, which, as you know, is not directional, but on the back of the plaid we have lines, and I wanted the lines to all go the same way, so I had to make sure that they were lined up that way when I did my quarter rounders. Then you're going to need, this is for the embellishment for the front of my card, and I am going to layer it up a bit to give it a little more dimension and make it stand out from the card cover. Then the inside of my card, I'm going with this polka dot. I wanted something that was a little less busy on the inside, but still cheerful. And this is going to be the cover of my card. And it says happy birthday all over it. And I thought that would be cute with my layered up on top of it to make my happy birthday to you stand out. You're going to need a scoreboard and a cutting board, and then we're going to need a piece for our pocket inside, and I will get that and I'll be right back with you. Okay, for my pocket I'm just using 115. What's the number? 110 pound cardstock, and I got that at 4.5 wide. It may have to be cut down. We'll see when we're done, but a lot of times your cover will be just a little bit wider once the paper goes on. So we'll see. We may have to cut this down. We'll dry fit it before we do that. So first, we're going to start with our paper here. And this is going to be the outside cover. We're going to cut this strip off that is extra here on the end. And then this is a 12 by 12. Both of them are. So we know it's a 12 by 12 paper pack. So we know this will work. And again, if you've been following me, you know my crooked eye. I always like to draw a line to make sure that I'm staying straight across on my paper when I am putting my chipboard down. So I just run a line that's 1 inch by 1 inch on the sides here. And then we're going to start with gluing down our cardstock. Now you can also use the score tape to do this. I like the art glitter glue. It gives me a little time to move things around to make sure that they are nice and straight. And if you use the small tip, it does not buckle your paper at all. So I think it's a very good quality glue. In fact, once I found it, I have other glues in my craft room. I do not use them. Very rarely use them. My art glitter glue is my go-to. Put that first one down. Then we'll take our spine piece and get it ready to go down. Okay, and with this, you want to use your album spacer. If you haven't been with me before, an album spacer is just 2 of your chipboards glued together with a piece of thinner chipboard, serial weight chipboard between them. And that gives you just the right amount that you should be able to fold without cracking. Also, when you're doing an outside of an album or like this, the card, you want to use 65-pound cardstock on your outside album. You would think the 110 would be stronger, but the 110 actually will crack much more for you than the 65. 65 is a little thinner, has a little more give that you can give it a memory, easier of bending without cracking. I use the 110-pound inside for pages because they are not going to be bending as far as your others will. And they will hold up a little better in there. But as far as the outside, you want the 65-pound. And close my glue back up. And I probably should have only gone a 1/2 inch over there because I'm a little short on this other end, but we will make it work. We're going to draw the 1-inch line at the top, and I'm going to take my scissors and go across there. I forgot to mention, you are going to need a bone folder, scissors, pencil for this also, but those are kind of standard supplies when you're crafting, so you want to keep those nearby. All right, so now we're going to take our score tape and we're going to go around the edges of this. You want to go as close to the edge as you can. You don't have to go all the way to the edge because we're going to be mitering those corners, so any score tape you put down there is going to kind of get wasted. Okay, and then we're going to take our bone folder and burnish down these edges. You want them pushed down good so that they kind of meld into the fibers of the paper. Also makes it easier when you take them off for folding your paper. And we're just going to slowly start bending up. Start giving that paper a little memory. Start letting it know which way we want it to go. And then we're going to cut and miter our corners. And you want to leave at least 1/8 of an inch on the edges. They do make a fancy tool you can buy to measure this to make it foolproof, but I don't know. I haven't spent the money on that yet. I'd rather spend my money right now on papers and glues and such, and just eyeball this part. So as you can see, it's about 1/8 of an inch that I'm leaving there. So again, you're gonna bend one more time. Start giving it the idea of where we're gonna go here. So I'm gonna take off my paper backing from my score tape. You're going to come up from the center first and bend it over, and then go out to the sides, bending it over. Take your bone folder and burnish it down. Do the same with the other long side. Start at the middle and go out to the sides. Then burnish it down good. Okay, now you're going to take a fingernail, or you can use your bone folder, whichever you're more comfortable with, whichever works better for you. If your fingernails are sharp, it might be better to use a bone folder. I usually use my fingernails. They aren't usually sharp. We're going to give that the memory of it's going to bend there, especially since this is a short side. Take that up and bend it over, starting at the middle again, and burnish it down with your bone folder. And do the same with the other side. Push in your corners. Remove your paper backing. And push up the center and out to the sides. And you can see here that you do not see any of that chipboard. Gives you a much more professional looking job, and I love that. So now we are going to measure our piece for on top of here. And we don't want to leave too much border on the edge because we need something to really hold this down. So we're going to go clear up to the edge as with about 1/8 of an inch showing. On this side, we're going to take our pencil and we are going to make a mark of about 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm going to cut this and measure it in 2 pieces because I don't want to mismeasure on our other end and then have to start over with a new piece of paper. So we're going to let's go this way. So I can see where there's a metal wire. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a little metal wire here that shows you where your cut line is going to be on your paper. I love that, especially when you're just marking with a pencil where to cut. And also when I'm doing my layering up, it just works so nice. You can see exactly where your cut's going to go and you don't have to guess at all. So, all right, I'm going to dry fit this again, and I think I need to take a smidge more off, so we will do that. It's another reason why you want to dry fit things, to make sure they're going to work before you put all the glue and everything on them and have them not work for you. And take a smidge more, just to be safe. Okay. Yeah, I think that will work perfect. Now, we are going to mark the bottom part where we want to cut it. Make sure paper is square in the holder. And we're going to dry fit it again, and that's going to work. All right, so now we're going to put score tape around all 4 edges of this paper. Get some of my scraps out of the way here. The only thing that is a downfall of the score tape is that you have all these little schmidgets that you have to deal with and throw away when you're working. If you're working on a big project with lots of score tape, you have lots of little papers to throw away. Now, I use the Score brand tape. I find it is the best. I've used no-name brands before or store brands before and haven't really had very good luck with them. I've had the adhesive give way on projects, and since I go to craft fairs, I want my projects to be long lasting. I don't want to go back to a craft fair and have somebody say, hey, you know, that thing I bought from you, that fell apart. That's never good. It's not good advertising, and it's just not good business. So yeah, I don't want to skimp on the products I use. I did run into somebody at one of my craft fairs. She had bought one of my refrigerator magnets, and she said, "Oh, I bought refrigerator magnets from you." And I said, "How do you like them?" Because I'm like, don't tell me they fell apart. And she says, "Oh, I love them. They're just great." So I do have a video on those also. In fact, it's one of my more popular videos. So then you want to go ahead and you want to burnish this down. Now, the other thing I like to do on this, and if you see, we went all the way up to the edge. So that's going to go to the edge all the way around. But my biggest problem with albums as such is where you fold here. It can buckle up on you, which also is not a good look for a project, especially if you want to sell that project. That just doesn't work very well. So I like to put score tape down in this area also to make sure that it is going to hold, and then it's not going to buckle up when I fold it. And I've seen people go, you know, with the wide score tapes go across and they don't seem to have a problem, but I can buy sheets of score tape that I've cut for albums, and I use them in my more expensive albums at times, but they're very expensive. It's cheaper for me to buy the tape and make these sections myself, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to put some in the middle here to hold it down, and I'll also use some art glitter glue in the middle here to hold things down. Now you also need to burnish this down. You'll notice that if you ever have to pick up the tape from the card chipboard, it takes the chipboard with it. So you want to make sure everything is burnished well down. So you also find that if you don't burnish it down, your tape will come up when you're trying to take the top layer off it. So you want it burnished down, melded into the paper or the chipboard that you are working on. Oops. You also don't want to put your hand in it. Okay, we'll put this off to the side a minute while we take the tape off the back of here. You never want to put down your art glitter glue before you take your tape off. Art glitter glue does dry that fast. You will have little bumps in your project. Alright, I'm using a Cricut weeder tool to pick up my tape. It's hard to do with my fingernails, and this is just very quick, efficient. Okay, so I'm going to put some art glitter glue in between the spaces here so that I get good adherence. Okay, now the hardest part, at least for me, this may be easy for you. So with my crooked eye, to try and get this totally centered, told you it sticks really fast. So, a little mishap, as you saw. When I say score tape holds, I'm not kidding. That's the pieces of part of the chipboard it picked up part of my paper. I think I can salvage that. I think it won't show when I'm done, but this piece is toast. So I cut out a new piece and we're going to try this again. And it adheres instantly, as you saw. I tried to lift it and it just would not come up without taking everything with it. So it is a good, strong product. Which, you know, gives me peace of mind that things are not going to fall apart. Which is like your biggest fear when you're selling stuff. This is your name on the line. Your reputation as a crafter, and you don't want your name ruined, because once it's out there that you sell junky stuff, you are not going to be selling stuff. Just taking the tape off my other piece. Okay. And glitter glue again. Let's try this one more time. And success. I'm going to burnish that down good. Corrine of Corrine's Creations gave me this tip of using the brayer. And when you use a brayer, you don't have to worry about scratching your papers. It presses things down nicely and no scratches. You will notice there's these two tips here. Make sure those are up or you will scratch your paper. All right, now we're gonna figure out where our folding at. You want to just gently lift till you find where that crease goes. Go down the crease with your bone folder. Finish your papers down good in that spine so that they don't pop up. Looks good. So that is your cover. Basically, that's how we make a cover for all our albums. Only a lot of times if I'm making a very expensive album, I will put Tyvek here to even help decrease any cracking that could happen. Alrighty, now time to put down the waterfall. And this I will be using art glitter glue for because I'm going to need that extra time to make sure everything is straight. And we saw what happens when Marilyn uses score tape. and doesn't get it down correctly. I don't want to ruin my whole waterfall when the last piece I put down flops down the wrong way. So the waterfall we're putting on the right side here. And we want to line it up so that it's centered. And press that down. We're going to let that dry a second while we go ahead and fold our waterfall papers. Well, tabs, or I don't know what you would call them. You want to use your bone folder to make sure that they're a nice crisp fold. And this is 110-pound cardstock to make it more durable. Okay. So, I'm going to start putting these in. I'm going to put the glue on the tab. And we want to line it up with the very top. I'm going to turn this over so I can see better to make sure that I am lined up straight. Okay, then we'll use our fingers to put that down nice and flat there. All right. Okay, and take this, and you want to line it up. This one. And along the edges, make sure it's all lined up. And we will continue that all the way down. Okay, so we have that down. I'm just going to use a brayer to kind of help it get the memory that I want it to stay down. And I'll do with this what I do with all of my albums and stuff, is I will put something on here overnight to make it stay closed. I'll also put something on here overnight to make it stay closed. So next we have our papers to go in, and I think I want the cupcake one on top, and then we'll go with that one. And I'm just going to do the front pages for now, and then I'll do the back pages afterwards. All right, and I'll get those glued in. I'll put your glue all the way around the edge, or if you're using score tape, all the way around the edge. Now, I thought about using this paper as the flips, but it's not sturdy enough. I don't think it would hold well enough. I think they would tear very easily, and I don't want this project to tear. As I said, I want it to be a keepsake. So I'll get these glued in, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so now I'm going to line these up to do the back ones. And I'm using the opposite sides for the back ones. And I'll get those glued in. Okay, so if you're one that likes to have a closure right away on here, you can put ribbon up here and down here and here before you put your base down. But I'm just going to put something on here and teach the paper the memory I want it to have. I often have to do that with albums as far as like the covers. So that's what I'll do with that. Now I'm going to just dry fit this. Oh, here it is. This pocket that I made. And I think that's going to, I'm going to cut just a tidge off that too. Don't want it to bind up when you close your folder. So I think that's going to work. Yeah, that'll work nice. I have a piece of the pink that I had that was going to be the inside. This is a leftover piece, and I'm going to mark that and cut that. And that will be the top cover for our pocket here. I think that will be cute. So that's what we're going to do. And this pocket, I am not going to do the half-inch scoring gussets on it. I don't want it to be that loose. What I will use the pocket for is, a lot of times we give cash as birthday gifts, because if you're going to a child's birthday, you know they get a bazillion toys, and that's great. But this way, you know, they have some cash. We especially like our granddaughters, we give them cash. Then they have cash to put in the bank for, quote, college. Or I think one of my granddaughters is saving to buy a horse. So, yeah. She does not live on a farm. I don't know where she thinks she's going to put this horse. and it's going to take her a long time to do that. So by the time she does that, she may be thinking about college or a car or something else. So we'll see. And we'll just line this up so that there's a border around it. Okay. And then just 3 sides with the glue, leaving the top open. Down straight. So that will be that part. And now we'll work on the front embellishment. I told you I got this Happy Birthday to You. So we're gonna layer that up and put that on the front. So the first part of layering that up, we're going to take a piece of light pink and we're going to put glue on the back of this. You want to go all the way to the edges so that your layer up does not come loose. And actually, I'm going to turn it this way, I think. Then you want about 1/8 of an inch border around it. I may go a smidge more just to make it a little more dramatic. All right. Close up my glue so it doesn't dry in between here. And now we're gonna cut off what we don't want on here. Again, like I said, I love the wire on this because I can see exactly where my cut line is going to be. Alrighty, now we're going to put it on a piece of blue. Both these colors are in the paper pack. It's just straight cardstock, 65 pound, but the colors match what's in the collection. So I don't have to use my collection papers to do this. I think I might have got out of frame there. Just going to layer this up again. Take our cutter. Okay, and then we need to put it on the front of our album. I think I'm going to open my album this way just to make it easier because those flaps have not learned to lay down yet. And I'm just going to glue it on. You could pop it up with paper or the the foam tape, but I'm just going to glue it down. Then if you had anything else you wanted to embellish it with, if you have like a, I don't know, you might want to use like a streamer's bow that matches the paper. You could put that up here. Whatever works for you. So on here, I will put pictures of the birthday person through their life, if I have lifelong pictures. Otherwise, just, you know, recent pictures of things we've done together. Over here, I'll put the cash, that is the gift, as well as the book as a gift. So that is our project for today. If you like this project, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button and come back and join my crafting family again for other crafts and planning. And I will see you next time. Happy planning, everyone.